Yo, 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 it's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about why the rich want you to jerk off every day. The rich want you to jerk off every day because you can lose your intelligence. You can lose your enlightenment in this reality. They want to, in terms of the rich, the elite, they want you to they want lust. They want you to lust because lust is quote unquote one of the lower emotions in the spectrum of emotions, as opposed to like something like joy or happiness or something like that, or enlightenment. Lust is literally one of the emotions. Own the banks, all these things. They want you to obey them. They want you to comply. They want you to feel as if you need them. Because when you need someone, when you're depending on someone, maybe for your check, if you're on welfare or something like that, you have to listen to them. And the more you listen to them, the more they can control you. The more their agenda is going to be the only thing that you think about. Because if somebody is depending on you for the next meal, they have to comply to your rules. And they want you to jerk off. So one, you also don't have any energy to maybe even think for yourself, because if someone has enough energy and if someone has the nutrients and vitamins that is reabsorbing through their body, they might start thinking a bit different. They might become quote unquote even more enlightened in reality. They might be more enlightened. They might have a fuller understanding of things. And the elites, God forbid, want you to fully understand a lot of things. They don't want you to show. They don't want to show you how things work, because if you start realizing how some things may work, or at least if you become have enough energy enough to be curious about certain things, you may want to figure things out. This is a no-go, because if you're curious enough to figure some things out, you're gonna start questioning a lot of things, and then you might be suggested that there is a different way to live life. And this is exactly what they don't want you to do. They want you to be an obedient worker who doesn't really think more than he has to, goes through the motions, and survives. This is exactly what they want you to do. And this all starts with jerking off, fapping. The more you do this, the more you're letting go of the energy or even the desire for something different, and you're quote unquote being their puppet. You're being the elite's puppet. See, a lot of things can be solved if you allow yourself to think a bit more in depth. Instead of asking how things happen, you might have to ask, what is this teaching you, and why are these things happening? The more you start to realize this, the more you start to become a quote unquote co-creator in reality, where you have the power in terms of just like, you realize that you have the power in terms of creating your own reality. The more you're going to have an idealistic lifestyle, and the less you're going to listen to other people, because you are already content in how you're living life. If you're not content in your life, then you're going to feel as if you need to listen to other people. The more content you are with your life, the less you feel like you need to listen to other people, because you are already happy. So their agenda is to make you less happy, so you depend on them, so you can obey, so you can keep stuffing their pockets. This is why they push lust into the society. Like I said before, lust is one of the quote unquote lower vibrations. The more you lust about something, the less you're thinking with your mind, your brain that was granted to you, and you're thinking with your carnal desires, and the less attentive you'll be, because you are controlled. This is how they push the narrative. This is how they push the agenda. This is why Hollywood, they say quote unquote S3X sells, because when a man is suggested by things in his quote unquote carnal desires, he loses all thinking for a little bit and is controlled. And this is why many people in positions of power lose themselves. This is how people who have super high positions may get in trouble. They realize that this is a powerful emotion. This is a low powerful emotion. This is how a lot of people may get controlled. But I mean, you just have to be sharp and attentive. Basically, if you go on semen retention and you decide to not FAP and you go on no FAP, you're definitely going to be a lot more enlightened. You're gonna think. You're gonna have a deeper way of thinking. You're gonna start asking more questions. You're gonna be more attentive, and you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna be enlightened in this reality. You're gonna have you're gonna have a better understanding of things. If you double this with meditation, you're gonna go and be a juggernaut, because there's a lot of people who think linearly, and you're thinking in depth. You're not thinking shallow. You're thinking about more. You're thinking about why these things are happening. You're questioning things. You're going in deep. You're really figuring out the roots of the problem, instead of just a branch of the symptoms, the surface level problems. You're going to the root. And I mean, if you can figure out the roots of different problems, you're going to be someone who is very dangerous in this 3D reality we call the Matrix. So I mean, like I said, they put the agenda in front of you. You follow the agenda. If you don't take any risk, you'll never be able to get out of the agenda that was placed for you. You'll never be able to get out of the agenda that was placed for you. You're going to have your modern needs met, but you'll never really, quote unquote, be in a position where you're able to become free, where you're able to do things on your own time all the time. This will never be you if you don't think thoroughly, if you don't become enlightened, if you don't care enough. Because like I said, if you waste your energy, you're not going to even care about any of this. You're going to want to survive. You're going to want to be comfortable. You're going to have some entertainment, and you're going to repeat the cycle forever. People talk about erectile dysfunction, yada, 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 these things that can happen if you go on retention for a long time. This is more of an agenda. I mean, it might be, there might be some medical problems that happens, but in my experience, I don't think there's ever anything that's happened for someone who's going on retention. This could be an agenda that they're trying to push on you so you don't do this. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's not really the point. Thing is, they may not want you to do this because you start realizing that you can start thinking for yourself. You have enough energy, and you start caring about maybe even your life even more. There's a lot of shallow people. People don't care enough about anything. When you go on retention, you finally start caring. And that's how things start to change. Once you start caring about something and you realize maybe it's not right, you might do more things in your power to change it. But people don't really, quote unquote, have this consciousness. Consciousness is what you believe to be true. They think very linear. They're not expanding their consciousness. They're not expanding their mind. And I'm not talking about recreational drugs to, quote unquote, expand your mind. I'm talking about the natural ways to expand your mind: by meditating, by reading, by internalizing things and expressing it out in certain specific ways. This is how you can expand your way of thinking. You start expanding your way of thinking, things might be a little bit different in the long run. You can either follow the 99%, or you can follow the road less traveled by, have a different perspective on life maybe, and have a story to tell in the long run. A lot of people just don't like to stick with anything, or as soon as they hit adversity, they decide to quit because they don't think it's worth it enough. They don't know. They can't think critically on how to overcome objections or challenges. And this is why they're stuck in their mediocrity. So the elites want you to jerk off because they want you to be controlled. They want you to obey them. They give you your work, and then you have these weekends for your quote unquote fun, And then you repeat the cycle for 40, 50 years. But little do they know about this. What about the people who, instead of maybe wasting their weekends, they use their weekends to create a better life for themselves in the future? Obviously, now nobody wants to hear this. This isn't the most popular thing to say, but if you live your life by the slight edge, you're gonna be the most popular person in the long run, while people are still kind of stuck on what to do. People don't want to hear this. They want to hear what's exciting now. They want to ignore all the things that they have to do. They want to ignore it. People don't like adversity. People don't like being uncomfortable. They shove it off. They become comfortable, and they keep living. If you do the hard things now, you're gonna live an easier life in the future. If you do the easy things now, you're gonna live a harder life in the future. If you do the easy things now, you're gonna live a harder life in the future. If you do the hard things now, you're gonna live an easier life in the future. And this is all it comes down to. But like I said, people don't care enough. People are content as long as they're not that uncomfortable, as long as they're surviving. No one bothers about anything. I mean, sadly, this is how a majority of the people live their life, because they don't care enough. But you may care enough. You might want even more success. You might even want more things. You want to figure out more things. You actually care enough, because you're starting to develop your emotional maturity and, quote unquote, your consciousness, what you believe to be true. You're questioning everything now. It's the Matrix. That being said, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to track more dates online, make sure you click on the link below, and we will see you in the next one.